Hey guys, my name is JessiMew, and welcome back to Adam's Quest. In the last episode, the bluebird feathers finally found their way back to Adam's family, though not without their fair share of trauma, of course. Though that being said, the baby that was born in their wake is the perfect example of royal blood at its finest. We have the stripes, of course, to remind us of Adam, but we also have the blood-red fur and the double claws, just like his father, the Destroyer. So he's destined to be a very strong individual, which I know his mother is very proud of. Then he has a crown of bones, too. And some of our more spiritual members of the tribe might take that as a sign from Moon Eye and Crescent. Maybe he does have some mysterious powers at play. That being said, I can't see this part of the tribe, our new bluebird feather family, being too interested in tranquility. They want to see themselves progress, they want to see everyone move on to the next island, and they're not afraid to step on some of their tribe mates to do so. We already saw that firsthand when Rarico was the one to take those bluebird feathers right out from under Ghoul's nose. But I feel like at this point, she's probably trying to convince both her babies and Rasp as well that this is what she wanted. She's very happy here right next to all of these savannah ports. If she did take the bluebird feathers, it's actually quite likely that she would have had to leave Rasp. There has never been a story of Adam being friendly with bearyenas after all. So she probably would have been expected to move to the main nest and leave Rasp far behind her. I think she might also be hoping to have just one more baby. Maybe she would really like to have a daughter if possible, like so many of our other families are hoping for. Lately, it has all been males born in our nests, which is going to be a little bit of a problem for us if that continues. We're running low on females who could potentially start new families, and that means it's going to be harder to keep things like the home island immunity gene in our tribe too. It's almost as if Rasp is trying to maybe draw his sons out into the water though. I wonder if he's hoping that he might be able to teach them how to fish. Now, I'm not sure if they're going to be okay in the deeper portions of the water because they're not fully grown just yet, so we'll bring them right up to the edge of the beach. And we'll see if they can poke around a little bit, find some fish to potentially scoop up for their mother. We'll bring Bear over here too to hopefully see the birth of his next little sibling. And then we'll go back to Hopper and Cicada, who are yet another family who are hoping for some sort of daughter. We'll bring Hopper over to Cicada's side so she can breed with him, pick up some of her acorns, and then get ready to set down a nest over on this side. We know there are a lot of bugs flying around this side of the island, so I feel like Hopper would request that she moves a bit further away. He can get ready to knock down some more delicious acorns for her too, as Scarab runs off to chase after his older brothers. He doesn't want to get left behind in the dust, and he also wants to make sure they're going to be okay once this carnivorous plant does grow back. Now that they've managed to successfully harvest all of those fruits, it will be returning in a new form. And then Trance, meanwhile, has successfully taken care of his brother's remains, and for all of his hard work, he actually managed to unlock the digging paw for us in the mutation menu. So I'm hoping that eventually he'll be able to start a little family too. A little family of grave diggers maybe, to fit in line with his family's theme. But first, he's going to seek out the healing islands, or at least some of these healing, water-breathing fruits, because he does desperately need something to extend his own lifespan, and the pilgrimage might be good for him anyway. He needs to get out there and see the rest of the world as he tries to come up with a way to overcome his mistakes. Now, Amazon was trying to chase down bunnies with Mantis, though he seems to have caught a little bit of a case of the sleeping sickness, so that's probably not the best way for him to impress his leaders. But maybe Amazon will be able to help him out. Oh my goodness! You just ran straight into a bunny, Amazon? Well, at least we know that we have one excellent hunter in the tribe. I wonder if we should leave that meat though, or at least send a Leap out to collect it instead. That way he can bring it back to his new little grandson. Oh no, who found a leech? Oh, it's you way over here, our little band of bandits. Of course, since they're so very close to the water side, they would be the ones to pick up the leeches. But they have plenty of little bandits ready to lend them a paw, including the addition of a brand new one over here, Karasi, who doesn't even have her 3rd gem yet. She must have been abandoned out here as a child, and she's lucky that our bandits were there to scoop her up and take her in. That way they can show her all the ways of the poison berries, because they are all very, very familiar with stealing from those big bushes. But I do think we will bring Amazon out of the swamplands because this area is just too dangerous for her to linger. You would think the same of our royal family, but I think that's why they're going to request that some of their guards go out in this direction to defend them from the bugs. I suppose that would even include Daylily. She's actually been put on berry picking duty because she's not a very strong creature. Amazon was maybe a little bit embarrassed to even call her a sister in front of the destroyer himself, and it's very unlikely that she'll be allowed to use these royal nests, despite the fact that she was hoping very much to start a little family with Pebble. And in fact, let's take a look at their mutation menus, so maybe we could breed them before we move on. Pebble is getting so old now, and with his case of the sleeping sickness as well, he's not going to have much of a chance to have any children. So the first thing we're going to want to do, of course, is place the normal blood clotting into Daylily's mutation menu. She does have the hemophilia, and I have noticed that quite a few of our females are carrying this now, so we want to try to work that out of our tribe as soon as possible. Otherwise, though, I think we're pretty healthy. The only other thing we might want to focus on is the fertility in her family too. And for Pebble, we might as well just focus on those ram horns, because that's the only trait that he isn't showing right now. So go ahead and breed with Pebble, and then we'll bring you over to the other, more dangerous side of those berry bushes, a noble sacrifice, or at least in the eyes of our leaders. Rarico doesn't want those bugs getting to her babies, and Orion doesn't want those bugs getting to his mate. Gravel, on the other hand, has it easy because he has the poison berries to pick from, and Orion knows that he is not designed to take part in the poison berry picking, so he'll have to leave it to somebody more capable. The success of their first baby would likely leave them eager to have another too, so we'll go ahead and have them breed, and then we'll wait for the next turn so Rarico can use her previous nest. Kuvan and Glow have also been enjoying their time together. I'm sure that Kuvan is very grateful that Leap guided him in the direction of the Healing Islands, because otherwise he wouldn't have met this fiery creature. She is constantly in awe that he is able to actually dig up all of those worms on the seafloor. She's trying her best to do the same, but so far she hasn't had very much luck. Let's bring him around this way too, to dig that one up for her on the next turn. And then we have Chime and we have Sunrise, who could potentially have another baby too. They already have 2 sons with the water body, who are doing an absolutely wonderful job scouting around for extra water-breathing plants, which is all well and good because Sunrise has noticed her supply slowly dwindling. Somebody has definitely been stealing the water-breathing plants to use for their own purposes, and she is not going to be a very happy camper when she discovers who it was. But I think we might be just about out of turns now. We just have Orion back here who could possibly spread the territory even further. Maybe we'll scoot him up in this direction to clear out more of that grass, just to make sure that his family is going to be safe. Then we might as well head back to Ghoul to see what her next, and potentially her last baby is going to look like. Oh, unfortunately, it's not a female, yet another male born in the tribe. But look at his absolutely gorgeous fiery mane. He also has the poison fangs instead of his mother's derp snout. So that's pretty interesting. He has the poison fangs in his first slot and that bearyena snout in the second. Maybe if we're lucky, We can actually pull that out of their genetics this time. I would love to see another bearyena snout creature roaming around the tribe, smashing rocks open with their giant claws, scaring away their enemies with their big booming voice. That in particular would be very, very fitting of Rasp's line. But before we name that baby, I do want to see if somebody over here could maybe catch this bunny. It might have to be you, Hopper. I know you're a little bit worried to go so close to the swamplands, but we want to make sure that you have food to give to your children. And did you actually pick up a leech? Oh no, poor little beast. I had a feeling it might be you. And it looks like somebody else may have as well. We know Beast has one. Oh, but our water-breathing family, of course. They're also very vulnerable to those pesky leeches. But let's scoot back to the beryena's new little brother. And I think we're going to name this baby Feral. It's interesting to note that it looks like he also has the webbed hind legs. And the swimming tail too. So he'll actually be pretty good at catching fish most likely. As long as he can find some of those water-breathing fruits, of course, to help him in the deeper portions of the ocean. And that being said, let's have Chance make his way down into the water to scoop up one of those plants. That way he can heal some of that damage that he took while he was cursed with the shaman's sickness. We'll bring him up here too to meet some of his other tribe mates. I don't think he's actually seen this many creatures before. That must be quite the shock. He has only ever traveled with the Lion Pride and with his brother Myth, of course. So he had no idea that there were so many other creatures waiting on the other side of the island. He'll have quite a few new faces to meet at the very least. Now Beast, you still have your leech, so we'll have your mother come over here to pick that off of you, and then she can scoot right back to her new baby's side to make sure he has food to eat. I guess technically she would be feeding him the leeches, wouldn't she? Not exactly the best snack, I would imagine. Probably doesn't taste the best, but you gotta take what you can get. We'll need to bring Rex away from the carnivorous plant too, just in case. And I'm sure he's going to request that his brothers do the same. And oh my goodness! You guys just unearthed the biggest pile of poison berries I have ever seen. Unfortunately, it's not very helpful for our Lion Pride because nobody can pick the poison berries. Aside from Cicada, of course, but she is a little bit busy right now. She's going to go ahead and make her nest and cross her little nimble fingers for a daughter this time. Now as the sleeping sickness begins to take over her body too, Daylily might be starting to realize that this part of the tribe is not really interested in protecting the weak. They only want to save their strongest. So perhaps she would consider moving a bit further away from all of these bugs. Maybe she wants to find a different place to live out the rest of her life. That means she is unfortunately going to be leaving behind Pebble II on his very last day as he tries desperately to grab up some of those extra berries. Something to offer to the royal child himself as he takes his first steps out of the nest. I know that his father is going to be so eager to train him, to teach him how to hunt. He is basically just like a little mini version of the Destroyer, and I think even at such a young age, he is very well aware of how important that is. I'm sure Amazon would be willing to lend upon training him too, but right now she's still trying desperately to help Mantis prove himself. Let's have her jump out here to see if the bugs are clear. Okay, so we only have a few more patches kind of floating around the nest itself. So let's have him make his way a bit deeper into the swamplands to see if he can find any more bunnies hopping around. We know there were quite a few up here because we do have a bunny burrow in the area. So they like to hop around the swamplands to try to find some safer berries to eat. We'll bring Leap down the shore too to be close to his family. I'm sure he would like to see his newest little grandson, and whatever other baby is going to be born on this turn too. And now with some of Kuvan's very final turns coming up, and now that Glow is completely grown as well, maybe he would ask her if she would be willing to start a family with him. A little duck-billed family, hopefully, with a love for the worms of the seafloor. They can use this tiny little island, once the Lonely Island as dubbed by Whisper, to get their family started. Maybe if they're lucky, the shamans will even smile down upon them, though I'd imagine that their family is going to be a little bit more unorthodox, just judging by their very, very unique looks. So Kuvan is definitely going to need us to place the normal eyes into his mutation menu, and then some sort of paw as well, because he does have that one deformed paw. So why don't we go ahead and place the runner's leg into his other slot, because we often have some pretty good luck with that, and that would give his babies more of a chance of being able to move a bit faster than he can. He often does have a little bit of trouble with that. Glow is going to need the normal blood clotting too, just like so many of our other females. And then I would actually like to place the dots into her mutation menu, because I would love it if we could keep those tiny little speckles that Kuvan is wearing right now. So go ahead and breed with Kuvan, place down your very first nest, and then we'll bring him down the shore to scoop up some more food for your brand new little babies. Sunrise and Chime will be so proud to see a brand new generation born on their islands, especially one that might be able to scoop up those worms with more ease. Now we'll have Chirp try to lead his little brother Rhapsody towards some food for him to pick up. Maybe if we can find some good shells down here somewhere, we could have him use that as his source of food. But oh my goodness, look how many of these water-breathing fruits we actually have. This is absolutely crazy. I mean, again, the only way that we could really use this is if our creatures had the water-breathing skill to begin with. So maybe that would be a good way for our more adventurous creatures to swim around with those with the water body, without making Sunrise too upset in the process too, by stealing her very important medicine. Now that the bandits have energy again as well, it seems as if they're going to stumble their way straight into the jungle family. There's no way that Bumble and Wasp wouldn't notice by now, and in fact I'm sure Bumble is gently nudging Wasp, who is so much younger than he is, to go investigate these intruders. They would fear that by allowing somebody else into their territory, particularly somebody without that stinky tail, they might completely ruin the very, very fragile truce they have with the big-nosed ape, who still has 62 days remaining on his lifespan, by the way, so he is not going anywhere anytime soon. Thorn, on the other hand, might consider trying to sneak his healing fruit for himself. He did take a little bit of damage from the carnivore in the previous episode, so he was thinking that maybe he could use this thing to his advantage. Let's see if maybe he can grab it without the ape noticing. I'm assuming this is probably the ape's plant because it's so close to his home, but we don't want him to turn on us. We'll have Van Duke sneak around the backside of their territory, or at least I'm sure he thinks he's being very, very sneaky. And then maybe he could actually help by clearing out a little bit of a pathway for our creatures to take. I'm not sure if they would be too happy with him destroying their potential sources of food, but this would at least allow our creatures to get around faster. That way they don't have to go all the way around the shore to escape potential dangers. And that way Wasp can get a truly good look at this invader as well, and likely scold him for being so very bold. Our bandits unfortunately just don't understand good manners just yet. I think at this point though, Shadow, since he does have the sleeping sickness, is going to stay behind with Karasi and just help her pick her berries so they have enough food. We might even have Duke Fawn stay in the area too, because he is very vulnerable to those bugs as well, unless there's some other berry bush that he could pick from instead. Maybe we'll scoot him over here. There we go, there's that extra food. So a worthy sacrifice for our little thieves. Now I'm very curious to see what Glow's first baby is going to look like. So as we zoom in on her little family, we'll be able to see the birth of our new royal heir in the background too. Oh, thank goodness. It looks like this baby back here, oh, wait a second. is a female, but they also have a carnivore in their midst. That is not our friendly bearyena. Rasp is over on this shore, so we have yet another situation to deal with. But first, let's take a look at Glow's baby. He actually looks quite a bit different from both of his parents. I think part of it is the lack of ram horns, and his much cooler fur too. It's still red, but it's not quite as vibrant as his family is known for, and certainly nothing compared to our little radioactive duck. So I think we'll give him a name inspired once again by our summer shores, and we'll call this little baby Dusk. He reminds me of more of like the setting sun, rather than the sunrise that his grandmother was named for. But we'll definitely want to see if these two can have another baby, maybe with a little bit more success as far as those dots are concerned. Oh no, and who picked up another leech? You guys again way down here with all of your healing fruits. Well, honestly, even if you couldn't make it to your brother's side for some strange reason, you wouldn't have much to worry about. Oh, and we have yet another lion son way underneath the family tree. Though I think this time he actually has that bearyena claw. You can just barely see those claws poking out from all of that nesting material. Oh, that's pretty cute. So I guess our king of beasts has finally smiled down upon the lion pride, and they've given us a very, very strong beaver-tailed creature. So I think we'll name this baby Scorpion, following in his mother's bug-themed roots. And then we might want to check out that female that was born as well, because it looks as if our family has tried to give her a name that very closely resembles our goddess of war. It looks like she actually inherited the nimble fingers instead of the extra claw. And she also has the medium body instead of something that would give her a little bit more strength. So she is actually much, much weaker than her brother. I wonder if that's going to turn into a little bit of a rivalry later. I feel like there's a good possibility that she would be looked down on for her size, especially when the destroyers are just about to charge into battle. So this is only a normal bearyena. Unfortunately, we don't have any little babies to take care of this time. We'll have Gravel at least try to land one quick swipe, probably out of shock in all honesty, because he was not expecting to turn around and see a giant bearyena looming behind him. Then Dukirvan can go ahead and land another good blow on him too, and then it'll be his father's turn to dive in and finish him off. There we go, so we managed to yet again scrape by without any injuries to our tribe. They might be hasty and they might be brutal, but they sure do know how to get the job done. We might as well have Rarico come up here and pick up all of that meat, and then hopefully her father will be able to hop his way over to the little baby's side. We need somebody to make sure that the babies are going to be safe. And on his very last day, Leap should be proud to know that his family is growing so strong. He'll be passing away in the presence of so many shamans as well, so it's very likely that he'll be able to find peace in the afterlife. But first, we have a different situation over here. It looks like the carnivorous fruit has finally grown back with a bit of a more dangerous smell involved. So it's very likely that our lion pride would notice the difference in scent, and they would be a little bit more cautious this time. Anybody who steps next to it is going to get sucked into that plant and will have to attack it until it opens again. I would like maybe to bring our little bearyena babies over in this direction. I feel like our lions and our bearyenas would get along very, very well. They all have a similar kind of laid-back lifestyle, and they're really looking forward to moving off to a warmer climate. So as the younger of the lions try their best to maybe clear out an escape route, because they know that there's a possibility that this could go terribly, terribly wrong. They'll get to know their neighbors, and maybe they'll ask if they wouldn't mind sticking around, just in case things start to go south. And as Scarab cleans out more of the grass, he would unveil Daylily, who has been lurking around in the background, and maybe noticing that she is actually pregnant with a child right now. Ghoul would call her over to use her own nest. She can actually make it there in this turn. Oh, excellent. I was a little bit worried because she only had one turn to make thanks to that sleeping sickness. But she'll be able to have her baby in the company of many, many friendly faces. even Trance, who is feeling a little bit more enlightened after meeting so many unique creatures, and would love to see the birth of her brand new baby. There's probably part of him that would be a little bit apprehensive, because he's not sure if him being around is going to cause any bad luck, maybe. He doesn't want to see a repeat of what happened with Myth. But now we should just be left with our jungle family, and we need to figure out where that ape is, especially now that our 2 twins have passed away. They're leaving their children with a very, very big task to accomplish, and they're not going to be able to do it alone. We still need somebody to lick all that stinky scent off of their fur. So maybe Wasp. Maybe it was a little bit of a blessing in disguise when these bandits rolled into your territory. We'll definitely need to bring Thorn back through the tall grass, and in fact I think he's going to start clearing out a pathway right now. But Wasp in the meantime, still very, very irritated of course over Vankir Duke's boldness, is going to request that if he sticks around, he at least jumps into this mud pile and rolls around for a little while to try to disguise his scent. That way, hopefully, the ape way off in the distance won't be able to smell him, but she's still not sure if it's going to be enough. We'll have him at least pick up some of the fruits because she has enough turns to lick off the stinky scent, and then maybe it's time for Vankir Duke to call his twin over to his side too, to help them out as well. Even though Wasp, so very fiery in nature, is not too happy with these twins right now, I feel like Vankir Duke is a little bit smitten with her, stubborn personality and all, and maybe he's hoping that he can convince her to eventually leave this part of the island with him. Because the bandits aren't here to plant down any roots. They are the travelers and the nomads, so we'll have to see if Vankir Duke can manage to weasel his way into her heart. But I think we'll pass the day one last time before the end of this episode, and we'll see the birth of our new babies and the death of so many tribe mates. Oh my goodness, which leaves this poor little baby completely unprotected. But again, it's kind of fitting, because I'm sure her parents would give her a little bit less attention than her brother. But let's at least ensure that all of our babies were born healthy. Oh my goodness, is it the return of the bananas? It looks like it might actually be. Thank you, Kufan, for this wonderful final gift. It looks like Ramim was practically reborn in our nest, though in the form of a male and with the poison fangs instead. Naturally, that has to be the work of both Moon Eye and Crescent. They finally managed to ferry that soul into one of our babies. So I think I'm going to name this little baby Sunspot, thanks to his golden fur and all of those big brown splotches. Oh, I love the dots with that big spot right over their eye. That has to be one of my favorite markings in the game. It's just so cute. And then we'll take a look at Daylili's child too, who thank goodness appears to be a female. Oh, excellent, and with those gorgeous pink ram horns too, just like her mother. She was actually a little bit luckier because she inherited that bearyena claw from her father. So it's almost as if she was meant to be born on this side of the island, with so many other creatures who would be willing to accept her as a friend. So I think we'll name this baby Jasmine, and in the next episode, maybe we'll see if she can help the bearyena twins with this carnivorous plant situation. Now that the twins have grown, they should be strong enough and ready to hopefully conquer the plant. They do have quite a bit of strength on their side, so working together, if one of the lions does stumble accidentally into its waiting jaws, they should be able to swoop in and save the day. And likewise, we should be getting super close to finishing off the stinky tail in our mutation menu. Let's take a look and see how many more of those actions we need to complete. Just 5 more times picking from these trees, and then we'll be fully ready to leave for the Savannah Island, which I am really looking forward to. I think we've had enough of the swamplands at this point. So for now, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye guys!